The practice of having regional groups mushroom and flourish within the two chambers of Nigeria's National Assembly, the House of Representatives and the Senate, has been criticized by many as a recipe for disunity among representatives of the people and, by extension, the people themselves. Critics of this development argue that these regional groups tend to gravitate towards deep-seated and distracting regional positions at the expense of national interest in the conduct of the legislative business. Senator Enang is a one-time presidential special assistant on National Assembly matters. He joins us here on Newsday to rub minds on what exactly could be the essence and impact of these regional groups on national unity. Good day to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you very much and good afternoon.
So let's get right into it. What are your thoughts on the formation of regional groups by members of the National Assembly? What impact does it have on national unity?
I want to apologize by saying that this is very dangerous. It is a dangerous step that is being taken by our legislators. And of course, it is only taken mainly by our legislators in the Senate. You rarely will find a thing near to this in the House of Representatives. And of course, you won't find any representation of this in the executive. You will find all the members of the federal executive, be they ministers, ministers of state, special advisors, special assistants, office of the president, office of the vice president, all of them working together for one united Nigeria. You will not hear minister of the north, you will not hear minister talking about a position of the south or the southwest and so on. And even members of the public, they are not. But this is very, very evident and very loud in the Senate. And I think this is not healthy. And I said definitely this is not healthy for the unity and integration of Nigeria and Nigerians. And it's not representing us well in the international community. So I will urge my brothers in the Senate, our legislators, our representatives, please play down on this divisive regional bloc strengthening. It is not good for Nigeria, and it is a very wrong time.
And to go even further on playing it down, what measures, in your opinion, could be taken within the National Assembly in order to promote this national unity? Should these groups, should they be disbanded?
I don't think you'll disband it because it can't be disbanded. But I give an example. If you have a common issue that affects an area, you could call all the sides together. Excuse me. You could all and then present your issue. An example. When the House of Representatives on the speakership of Galiumana.
We will come back with the interview with Senator Enang in just a moment. Stay with us here on Newsday. And thanks for staying with us here on Newsday. We do have Senator Enang back on the Newsday interview with us. Thank you so much for staying with us, and apologies for the technical difficulty. You were speaking about the implications of these splinter or mushroom groups within the National Assembly. Please proceed.
Yes. Now, we had that issue relating to the passage of the Niger Delta Development Commission. And we didn't take it as a regional or a national issue. We sat down the north and the south and the southwest and the southeast. And we considered that it was in the interest of having peace in the Niger Delta, and that we should have the commission. And now that will bring more revenue into the country. Now, we sat down and we said, how is the interest of the North going to be accommodated? And now there was this program, the Hydroelectric Power Development Areas Commission. So we agreed under the leadership of Galina Abba, the northern legislators in the House and the southern legislators, we agreed that we will pass for you, the people of the Niger Delta and South-South and Southeast, the Niger Delta Development Commission. But you will have to consider and pass for us the Hydroelectric Power Area Development Commission. And then there was also the other bill on the Solid Mineral Development Commission. We sat and traded that off. We didn't make the NDDC Act a southern or a northern issue. We made it something that looked like, that was, look, the interest of the country. This is your problem. We'll solve it for you. This is our problem. We'll solve it for you. And in fact, we did not pass it in the 1999-2003 House of National Assembly. We carried it forward to the 2003 to 2007 Assembly. We, the South and the South-South, held and knew, even with the new members that joined us, that we owe the North, and by our understanding, the passage of the Hyperdeck Bill and the bill relating to solid minerals, we kept the honor and we passed it in time. We didn't make it a northern matter, a southern matter or something. We tried as much as possible to bring it, to make it a harmonized matter. And I think it is not very good. The governors started it, the northern and the southern governors, northern, south, but they haven't gone to the very, very divisive extent that is going on in the Senate, with the greatest respect to distinguished senators. And even when you look at the election of distinguished Senator, His Excellency President Tinubu, the North came together and said, look, it is the turn of the South. Let us give it to President Tinubu. Let us not say the northern position and the southern position. We have taken our turn 8 years under President Buhari. So, as much as possible, the governors have not shown the level of atrocious division that is playing out in the Senate. And I want to plead that we shouldn't go that far. I want the Senate, with respect, it shouldn't be. It actually shouldn't be. The House should be emulating the Senate. But it seems the House is a lot more coherent in terms of non-divisive deliveries than the Senate. Senate, please keep the honor of the Senate. Keep the unity of the Senate and the country. You are the benchmark of legislature in the country. And please play down more on the question of division. When you have, like you had the question of on the budget, there is the Federal Character Commission. Part of the job of the Federal Character Commission is what they call Mandate 2. The Mandate 2 of the Federal Character Commission is to make sure that in planning, budgeting, execution of projects, in provisions in all parts of the country, that the Federal Character Commission ensures that it is equitable, it is fair to all parts of the country. If the question of power is the challenge of the Southwest, the question of insecurity, maybe the problem of the Middle Belt or the Northeast, then the Federal Character Commission will see whether the distribution of these facilities has been balanced. And if it is not balanced, whether there is a trade-off between one imbalance to balance another person's challenge in another section. So I want to use this opportunity to call on Hajia Dr. Dan Kaka, the chairman of the Federal Character Commission, and all the 37 commissioners of the Federal Character Commission, that it is their failure, and I repeat, their failure to work on the second mandate, to work on balancing the budget. They should take the budget before it is laid before the president to ensure that it is balanced. And after it has been passed, they should be part of those who advise the president that the budget is balanced. Sign or don't sign, or who withhold assent until it is balanced. So the Federal Character Commission should wake up to do its job and not allow the National Assembly, the Senate, which the Constitution had assigned part of this job to do, to be doing your job instead of doing the job and reporting to the Senate and the National Assembly.
Well, Senator Enang, still talking about the budget, you know, last week during the debate, an alleged budget pardon, which led to the suspension of Senator Abdul Ningi, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, he expressed his opinion that the now suspended senator wanted to use the Northern Senators Forum to impeach the Senate president. He called it an attempted civilian coup. He said simply because Godswill Akpabio was a southerner, which clearly implies, which clearly shows a level of suspicion and distrust, even within the Senate. What are your thoughts on this?
I want to say, please let me withhold my thought and plead my privileges on this matter. I work closely with the Senate, with my colleagues in the Senate. If I have opinion, I think I should express to them, other than the ones I've expressed here. On that matter, I should express my opinion to them in-house and behind the scene. Please, I will not want to speak on it. The only thing I will want to comment on that budget matter is not on what happened on the floor, but that when the National Assembly passes budget, the way we used to handle it with Abba Kyari of blessed memory as Chief of Staff, Senator Udodoma as Minister of Budget and Planning, myself as Presidential Liaison on the National Assembly and Presidential Advisor on to the National Assembly, the way we used to handle it is the Chief of Staff will sit with us and he will send the budget of the Minister of Works to the Minister of Works, send the budget of Education to Education, send the budget of Agriculture to the Minister of Agriculture, and we'll ask, and I want to use it in the present term, the Minister of Works, Chief Umahi, to what extent has the budget of the Ministry of Works complied with the renewed hope agenda? To what extent has it deviated from what you submitted? Is it up to 10% or 20%? Has it scattered the budget? Will it lead to implementation of the principles of the achievement of the what the party promised the people? Now, I will ask Education. Education, what is your thought? Should I sign or should I not? Should I withhold assent? Now, that will be done within 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Each of the ministers will now come back. It will be sent to every ministry, every department and agency of government. Now, each of the ministers will use the directors in the different ministries. They will look at the different sectoral allocations and see the extent to which it complies. And also see, I think I want to credit the former Secretary to Government, the first Secretary to Government under President Buhari, because he saw and raised, and he was correct. Part of the things that the ministers will come out with is, are there projects in your budget which does not belong to you, which is not within your ministerial mandate? Has there been a matter which should belong to the Ministry of Agriculture, which is now transferred to the Ministry of Education, just because the Minister of Education is friendlier with the person who has interest in that project? Now, these are all the things that will be done. And that will be done. That is why the President is given 30 days to consider any bill, including the budget, before it is signed. When that is done, all of them will come back, and the Chief of Staff will, working with the Minister of Budget and National Planning and all of us, see the extent to which the budget has deviated from the principle which Mr. President has in mind. And then we'll now advise assent or no assent. But before that, he will hold conference with the leadership, with the principal officer, with the presiding officers. If the issues are very serious, he will call a meeting of the principal officers, that is the 4 presiding officers plus other principal officers, which will include the leaders and officers of the minority party, and present the differentials before them and why the budget should not be assented to. Sometimes they will work behind the scene to agree, although the National Assembly never keep it. Not that they often don't, but I think they never keep it. They will agree, okay, assent, we will do amendment. But there is a way implementation is normally done. Why am I going on this? The situation where the National Assembly passed budget on the 31st, and the President comes back on the 1st and signs the budget, is not budgeting. Because, Mr. President, has not had the opportunity, with the greatest respect and honor, Mr. President has not had the opportunity of using his ministers, his ministerial advisors, his special advisors, special assistants, the ministers, the heads of agencies and parastatals, and the directors in the ministries to examine and re-examine the extent to which that budget he submitted before the National Assembly has been passed and in accordance with the agenda he has. Look at the Ministry of Budget, and I want to challenge Nigerians to look at the budget of the Ministry of Agriculture. And I repeat again, Nigerians, take special interest. Take the budget of the Ministry of Agriculture and see the extent to which the matters that relate to agriculture are included in that budget. The matters that relate to agriculture and food security is not up to 35% in the budget of the Ministry of Agriculture. What you have in the budget of the Ministry of Agriculture 2024 are extraneous to agriculture. I take responsibility for what I have said. I have read the budget. And it is not. So take again the budget of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. To what extent are the provisions there relevant to harvesting fish, getting fish and the blue, harvesting the resources of the blue economy, taking advantage of the parastatals and agencies in the blue economy? To what extent? These are the things that should be the concern of the legislature, of the executive, and which ought to have been taken account of by the chief of staff, the secretary to government, the ministers, in the course of advising Mr. President to sign the budget. Bringing the budget to the president, passing the budget on 30th or 31st, and giving the president budget to sign on the 1st. And Mr. President not having the advantage of being advised or the budget being appraised and advised on by his ministers and aides is what I call legislative ambush.
Well, then, Senator Ita Enang, great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.